So today we are gonna measure body fat. In front of me was something called the Bodymetrix, and I'm gonna explain why I use the Bodymetrix rather than weighing yourself. A lot of people believe that weighing yourself is a good way of monitoring your progress. I can tell you this: weighing yourself sucks. It's a complete waste of time. The reason for that is weighing yourself doesn't take into consideration hydration. So on a hot day, sweat more, you're going to weigh less. Simple as that. If you drink less during a day, you normally drink 2 liters, you drink 1.5 liters or 1 liter instead, you're going to weigh a kilo less in the evening. Simple as that. Another thing about weighing yourself doesn't take into consideration lean muscle tissue. So for instance, if I have someone start training with me, 4 to 6 weeks down the line, they will have gained some muscle tissue. I'm not saying that they become Arnold Schwarzenegger or anything like that, but muscle tissue might actually weigh more. Let's say 6 weeks down the line, they weigh more than they did when they first came in. That's because they obviously they become leaner, the waist goes down and everything, the clothes fit better. But instead of fat tissue, they have muscle tissue. So muscle tissue is very, very beneficial for you because muscle tissue is hungry. It burns fat. So you don't want to lose muscle tissue. You want to add muscle tissue. What you want to lose is fat tissue. So weighing yourself doesn't take that into consideration. That's why I'm saying that weighing yourself sucks. And if you do weigh yourself now, stop. It's a complete waste of time. I've never used it. What I used when I first started off as a personal trainer, I used a tape measure to measure the waist. So when someone come in and start training with me, we'll take a measurement. Then 6 to 8 weeks down the line, we take another measurement. A lot of times the waist would go down, but then further down the line it stops. It will stay where it is. And why is that? That's because if you do functional training, which is what I do most of the time, lifting heavy things and whole body movements and all that, exercises that are beneficial for you in your everyday life, your core is going to become a lot stronger. So the core is your waist. So you're going to have your waist is going to be packed with muscle. So there will come a point when your waist won't become any slimmer. So that's why measuring your waist is not always the best alternative. There's also something called calipers, skin fold measurements. I never got into that. When I've done my personal training qualification, I noticed that there were too many flaws with that because I've had a fellow student did the calipers on me one day and the next day, and there was a difference of 5 to 6%, I think. So skin fold measurements, you've got to be really good at it if you want to use it. If you use one person, you got another person, you might get a different results because it's about how hard they pinch and all that. So I never got into that. After a few years of being a personal trainer, I started to do my own research. Obviously, the measuring the waist wasn't working anymore, so all my research pointed to the Bodymetrix because it's a portable device. Bodymetrix uses ultrasound, so it's a proper scan. Ultrasound is actually echo, so the echo will actually measure the thickness of your muscle and the fat tissue. So that's why I decided to get a Bodymetrix. Actually, I had done body fat scans before at the University of Westminster. There's something called the DEXA scan, which is the top of the range, which is basically an MRI scan where you go inside a cubicle. These scans are very, very dear, I think almost 200 pounds. I didn't have to pay that though, because I used to take students from the university as a work shadow. So part of my compensation was to come in and have my DEXA scans. So, but it was good though, because it gave me a measurement, like a reference point. But obviously, there's no way in the world that I could buy that kind of equipment because it's very, very dear, and and also to send my clients into University of Westminster, have them pay £200. I don't think so, not many people would. So 2 years ago, this is in 2015, I was at the FitPro convention at the Excel, and there was a guy there who represents this company called Bodymetrix, and he was doing free scans, trial scans, and I had done one, and they had a sale on, 10% off I think, so I went ahead and bought the equipment, and then I did a training online with a guy called Colin there. And since then I've been measuring my clients' body fat as well as my own every now and then. Not all my clients do it, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but it's definitely a good reference point for you. If you start a new exercise program, to make sure the program works, so you do a scan, then maybe 6 to 8 weeks down the line you do another scan. So if your body fat percent has gone down, then obviously the program is working. So what I'm holding here in my hand is ultrasound gel. So this is what we use. So let me stick some on there. Start the scan. So you wonder why my trousers pulled up. That's because men measure their thighs. So that's the first measure point for me, and I didn't want to pull down my pants on camera. So let me go ahead and start the scan. I got the gel on. Measure point. First measurement. Second one. Well done. So men measure thigh, chest and waist, 3 places. For women it's slightly different. They do their waist obviously here. They also do their hip right above the big bone, and they also do the triceps. So now it's time to do my chest. So I'm going to have to pull up my my t-shirt. Yellow. Done. So most men are very lean around the legs and the chest. When they're not so lean, it's the last measurement, which is the waist. This waist, that's where you want to avoid, having lots and lots of fats, because you've got all your vital organs there. So it's not good if your vital organs are surrounded by fat tissue. Since your liver, kidneys, heart and all that, you don't want them to be covered in fat. So I'm going to do mine now. Me done my scan. I do this scan every sort of like 6 to 8 weeks, just to keep myself on track. I'm not really looking to lose any body fat percentage. I'm quite happy where I am. What I don't want to do, I don't want to add anymore. So for me it's just maintaining. Other clients who come in, they are in an unhealthy zone, which means maybe they're 10-15% into the unhealthy zone, so they want to sort of lose maybe 10 to 15% of their body fat mass. That takes time. Normally I would say 1% a month, but you've got to be good. You have to make small changes to your diet, and you also need to do some exercise. Then you can lose about 1% every month. So let's say 12 months down the line, you might actually find yourself in a healthy zone or a healthy zone. So that's it for me. Then log off. Thank you for watching.